Hey there, nation, and welcome to the show where we help you to play miniatures wargaming on a budget. It is I, Commander Cheapskate, and we are back another episode of Hobbyside. And on today's episode, we are taking a showcase look at our Champions of Undead team for Blood Bowl. This is our Shambling Undead team for Blood Bowl. It's the Champions of Death. It's been fully assembled, fully painted, and now it's ready to bring glory and honor and profit on the pitches of the Blood Bowl. So as you can see there, it looks absolutely fantastic. This team is fully kitted out, fully painted out, and we're really happy with the end result. So yeah, looks really, really awesome. Now, as you guys have been viewing our channel for a while now, you know that my gaming group and I are actually planning on putting together another Blood Bowl League. We did a Blood Bowl League, I think a year before last. It was called Tail from the Tackle Zone. And it was only a very small season. It only had 4 players involved in that one. And the reason why it was only kind of small is because at the time, not very many of my game members wanted to actually play Blood Bowl. In fact, a lot of them were actually not interested in it. Plus, you also had COVID-19 happening at that time period as well. So because of that campaign didn't go very far. However, though, since the pandemic's been over, since the pandemic kind of passed for the most part, my friends and I have been actually thinking about doing another one again. And the reason why is because my gaming group has actually been playing Blood Bowl on and off again over the years. And they've actually really enjoyed it. So they actually want to actually do a full-blown campaign. So because of that, we're putting together a Blood Bowl League to make that happen. The thing is, though, is I got 12 players who actually want to play in this. So it's absolutely fantastic. So we have 12 different teams. In fact, because of that, I have to actually divide up our Blood Bowl League into 2 conferences called the Old World Conference and the New World Conference. And it's 6 teams per conference, kind of like the AFC and NFC for American football. And both conferences will play it out round robin style with each of the 6 teams. And then by the end of it, they'll have a champion for the Old World Conference and a champion for the New World Conference. They'll play it off in the Blood Bowl to see who's the overall champion for the league. And that's pretty much how we're going to do it with this one. And so this team right here, the Champions of Death, these guys are going to be our Undead team for the New World Conference, is what these guys will be playing for. So if you guys remember the last time we did a team showcase, we did the Wolfenburg Crick Stealers. Those guys will be for the Old World Conference. So these guys will be the New World Conference's Undead team as well. And it looks absolutely fantastic when we do that. It was actually kind of funny because when I actually painted up both those teams, both the Wolfenburg Crypt Stealers as well as the Champions of Death, I was actually kind of apprehensive. And the reason why is because of all the freehand required for both those teams, with the green rims as well as the black stripes on the jerseys of the Necromantic Horrors team. And at the same time, I was also kind of worried about the flame motifs that these Champions of Death actually have on their black armor as well. And I was actually really nervous about doing that because I'm not really good at freehanding too well. And so it's going to be a challenge for me, but, what's life without, expressing yourself and exploring new options? So because I decided to give it a try, and I was really happy with the end result on this team. So you can see we pretty much have a typical color scheme going on for the team. I was kind of going for like this kind of cartoony paint job with the Undead team. Kind of like how the Necromantic Horrors team, the Wolfenburg Crypt Stealers, how I kind of did this like Halloween town kind of vibe with these guys. I want to do exactly the same thing with this Undead team as well. And plus, Blood Bowl is not as serious as other Games Workshop games, so you can easily do that. So this actually came out really, really awesome. So let's go ahead and talk about the design concept real quick. So the first thing we wanted to do, of course, we wanted to make sure that we vary up the paint schemes a little bit for each of the team members, just because Games Workshop doubled up the sculpts on these guys, so they pretty much have the same body. The only thing that really changes is the head for the most part. Everybody else, though, is exactly the same. They're all kind of identical. So to help to create that idea, what I decided to do is paint up these guys in red and blue. So for example, if you see this center zombie here, this guy's actually got a red tabard and around his neck as well as around his hip. Well, this guy behind has the exact same sculpt, but I made him blue. That way you can kind of tell them apart at the same time. Same thing with like this ghoul, I made him purple, while the other one was pink. Now as for the mummies though, they actually have different sculpts on their heads. Like this one doesn't have a helmet, while this one back here does. So just small little things like that I did in order to help vary up the paint style. So as you can see, like this one skeleton lineman here's got red. And of course his counterpart, which is over here, has blue. So that's how I pretty much did it in order to make up a little variety. Yeah, like there's a white, for example. He's got a blue tabard on for him, while the white in the background here has got red. So because of that, we wanted to keep that idea going on for both teams. Another thing I was really happy about, of course, it was the paint job that I did on the freehanding on the flames. So we're going to take up this guy real quick. So you'll notice, let me see if I can zoom in here real quickly for you. There we go. So for the paint job on the flames, that was one of the parts I was really worried about at the time. I was actually kind of worried about getting that taken care of because I'm not really good at freehanding. But it really wasn't much of an issue. And the reason why is because you can see it was actually came out kind of nice. It's really simple to do, actually. What I did is when I painted these guys up, what I did is I just basically create like these little squiggly lines along the rims of their armor. I did that in Anita's True Red, which is a type of acrylic paint that I got from Hobby Lobby. And then what I did after that is I made the same kind of pattern, but just smaller in yellow to create that yellowy fire effect. Now it might not be heavy metal quality like you see in Games Workshop, but for the tabletop though, it's actually not that bad. I was actually pretty surprised how good it came out under normal circumstances. You know, as people like us, just being mere mortals who are, you know, trying to paint as best they can. Let's see if I can zoom in for this guy. So you can see here, this is actually a little bit better. You can see I have that awesome paint job with the flames going on. And try to create that look there. Let's see if I can flip them over the back so that you can see it better. So you can see the flames there. Look really awesome. I was really happy with the way that they came out. So you can see here I kind of did that alternating blue pattern here for this mummy, while the other guy has red. So yeah, decided to stay with the traditional color scheme of the Champions of Death with the black armor. Now I know the Champions of Death have like this kind of like this bluish kind of hinge to their armor. So because I decided to dry brush the black armor with Skyline, which is made by Folk Art, it's kind of like a grayish blue color, which is like this color here. I also use Slate Blue by Anita's acrylic in order to dry brush that to give this kind of blue hue to the black armor that these guys are wearing. So that was really nice. Lots of khakis going on for the mummy wraps, as well as for the bones in these miniatures, as well as green for all the zombies. And one with this kind of sickly green color. That one was achieved by using wintergreen by apple barrel paint and then dry brushing with lime sherbet to create that effect. So I was really happy about that. Made my ghouls purple as well as pink. Just add some variety there. So yeah, the coins were actually pretty fun to paint as well. They're really cool. I really like these little turn markers with the hands. That part was really cool. In fact, let me go and turn these around real quick, so that way you can see the flame paint design I did on those guys there. That way you can see little flame motifs. Actually, I'll talk about that a little bit more in detail when we actually get to my cheap shot. I made a cheap shot video for these guys, and so that way you can learn how to paint these guys up pretty quickly as well, and save yourself a ton of money. It was funny because I actually put one of these this image of these guys up on one of my community tab on one of my posts, and actually had a viewer ask me, "Did you really use craft paints for all this?" Yes, I use all the cheap craft paints you guys find at Walmart and Hobby Lobby. My main brands I like to use are apple barrel paints, what I primarily use, because it costs 50 cents at Walmart. I also use Anita's acrylic. I use some of their colors. It costs 65 cents at your local Hobby Lobby. I also use Delta Serum Coat for some colors as well. Also costs 65 cents at Hobby Lobby. And I'm a really big fan of using Folk Art metallic paints, especially. I really like Folk Art paint for the metallics primarily. And that costs about 75 cents. So that's where I kind of splurge a little bit. And I paint these guys up using a quick paint method, meaning I put an oil wash on these guys. The oil wash that I like to use is Minwax Poly Shades in Mission Oak color. The reason why, because it does exactly the same thing as Army Painter Strong Tone, except Army Painter Strong Tone costs $32 a can, while Minwax Poly Shade Acrylic only costs $7 at your local Walmart. So yeah, that's what I use with these guys as well. Now, if you notice the bases look a little bit different this time. If you notice, I have this kind of bluish gray kind of thing going on with the bases. I actually painted the bases in Skyline by Folk Art, which is a dark gray, bluish gray color. I then dry brushed it with pale gray by Folk Art, and then I washed it with watered down burnt umber to create this kind of dusky, kind of dirty, slate blue type of base for these guys. And the reason why I did that, because I wanted this base to actually match up with the stone here that you see here on the pitch, as well as like the normal turf that you have here, or the dirt that you have on the actual Champions of Undead pitch. And that's the reason why I did that. And then of course I rimmed it in green because I want to be able to put these guys on an old level pitch And we put some homemade green flocking on it as well, so that way it looks right at home. So yeah, I'm really satisfied with the way this team came out. And yes, I use homemade blood effect as well. As you guys see here, we have all those blood and gore effects. You could use Blood for the Blood God to do that, which is great. Blood for the Blood God is an excellent product. It does exactly as advertised. The only problem though is I found a cheaper way of actually doing it, especially when I was using it for my Khorne Legion of Chaos army. I actually found a way to just take polyacrylic by Midwax, and just high gloss, clear gloss that you can get for like polyurethane, and just mix it with red paint to create this nice little blood effect as well. You could use ink. Amsterdam ink actually does a really good job in order to do that, but the problem is that Amsterdam ink is kind of expensive. It's $7 for a whole bottle. Whereas I could just use red acrylic paint, like I do this true acrylic, and does exactly the same thing. That's where you get that high gloss, sheen, gory look from. I put on the intestines of the zombies, and it's also in the hands here to show that they're decaying and stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much how I built those guys and created that. So I would say this took me about 2 weeks worth of work, if I had to add it all together. 2 weeks worth of painting sessions, I should say. So like, you know, I paint for about an hour and a half to about hour and a half every night, whenever I get a chance. So about 2 weeks worth of time, I'm out that. So that's what? That's 14 and a half 14 and a half hours, I think is what that is. So yeah. But yeah, I'm really happy with the way it came out. And I can't wait to see exactly how these guys are formed when my friend plays this team on the Blood Bowl pitch. So yeah. Well, you guys, that's going to do it for this one. As always, please feel free to like, comment, and or subscribe. Your guys' input is invaluable to us as always. Also check us out on Facebook, Instagram, as well as blogger.com for all nice, greatest hobby news related to our channel. That's going to do it for this week, guys. I'll catch you guys next one. Peace out and stay classy.